Yeah, and it's such a shame to see people take something as beautiful and important to us as music and use it to create division. Like, that's such a shame because it's such a beautiful tool. And I'm also not just talking about racial, I'm also saying ageism too. Because we were having a conversation about how our parents like to say, your music's not real music. And then, we listen to good love music. And then you go listen to some Marvin Gaye and find out, hey, yeah.
I say that to some of the coworkers now, the young ones, some of the stuff they're listening to. I'm like, I just don't understand. Like, it's not, to me, it's not music. They're not even singing. They're just talking, and it's just like a beat. And it's like,
That's true. That's true.
I don't get it. So I guess it's the same thing as,
what parents hear, like, this is not real music.
We're doing it too, but I feel like if you're going to call it a song, I need you to at least sing something.
I can tell you, I feel like the difference is this. Our parents were right. Their music was great. And then, I'll say the 90s was good too, and then all of a sudden it just kind of veered off. And I honestly think a big part of it is the content. The content does not encourage the spirit. And even when the children are confessing themselves, saying things like, I don't listen to the lyrics, I just listen to the beat. Right. That tells you that if that's the only thing that's good, then they're even saying something's wrong with these lyrics.
Absolutely.
And I believe that one of the reasons it's so important for the Christian community to support gospel artists is because they're still singing the words of life. They're singing the word of God, the words of life. So it's going to get in there. And I think too often we don't realize the negativity that, like if I'm depressed, why would I listen to depressing music? How much sense does that make? Like why wouldn't you want to listen to something uplifting and something encouraging? Go ahead.
I'm trying to be deep.
No, this is that show. You're in the right place.
The thing is, what you're saying makes, good sense. But we also have to go back and we have to think about who Satan was to God or whatnot. He was the minister of music. He embodied music. And so the thing is, he hasn't, even though he doesn't have the influence and he doesn't have the job that he had, he still has,
the access.
Yeah, pretty much, to be able to influence others to still create for him, because everybody's not a Christian. Everybody doesn't know the Lord. And so even in that, people, they do things and they don't even know why. Even, I'm going to get off for just a second. I'm going to come back. Looking at movies. Think about some of the movies that you see, Day After Tomorrow, and all of these different things. Think about that. That had to come from somewhere.
Yeah.
That was downloaded. You don't just imagine it and it just pop into your head. That's
true.
because there's an influence going on in the earthly realm and in the spirit realm that is downloading stuff into you to where you can go and you can put that on paper and you can create a movie.
How do you feel? How do you guys feel when the secular artists say this is the new gospel? Have you heard that term?
As far as
when they're talking about their music being the new gospel, the music, and because a lot of go ahead.
I was going to say, I feel like because of this generation and what it has become, right now, it's hard for a lot of them to find the truth because they all believe that their truth is the truth. So now they're bringing something out.
Now, see, if I had said that, everybody would have been confused. But he said it, and it's just like, I get it. Yes.
Yeah. So they're serious about that when they say the new gospel. Because they are familiar a bit with the truth, the real gospel, but they're saying, now our generation is saying we're creating our own, and this is the new gospel, which I don't want to get too deep.
Yeah.
We already know where that's coming from.
How do you think about it?
He's exactly right. But I wanted to say this, and I don't say it just because it's my son, but what I love about him, he has such a discerning spirit that when he walks into a place to do a concert, he can feel the need.
That's good.
And he sings according to the need, as opposed to according to the artist.
That's good.
Wow. That's good. Yeah, give it up. Wow. That's good. Now, when it comes to, see, this is where it gets stuff, because it's getting in the spirit, seeing him come to the Lord and everything like that is wonderful. And so then what happens, so you do an event, do you show up if you don't get paid, or do you like when the money comes? Like, because there's the business side. Yeah, Because a lot of people say, well, I bet you if they're not getting paid, they won't show up. Like, how does that? Because does the business side stifle the spiritual side?
So for me, I'm just gonna be real. I'm in the military, 18-year veteran, active duty.
Thank you for your service.
Yes, sir, most definitely. And so, my particular job, we deal with, lots of money and contracts and different things. And so, speaking on contracts, when you do ministry moments, there's a contract. It's just the truth, because there have been moments where people show up to sing, and then it's and I'm not trying to be funny, but hey, I'm a little short. Well, the contract stated that you were going to pay this, that, and the other. Think about your lease, think about your mortgage, think about your car loan. If you don't pay, guess what? They're coming for it. So why is it that you want to pimp me because I'm doing it for God, and then say, oh, I don't have the money, when I can't roll with you? Now, he's going to show up. I'm a new artist. I don't have Earl.
He said he's going to show up.
I don't, and I'm okay with that. And it's not to be funny, but my thing is, if they can start you off that way, they'll continue to treat you that way. If somebody takes and they show you that you're not important, or that you're not worth it, or that you're less than, and they know that they can take advantage of you in any capacity, they will continue to do so. It's not about not showing up because, you should just do it because it's God. No, there was a contract signed, and guess what? If I don't adhere to the contract, then you could sue me. So why is it that you don't adhere to it, and I still, no, there's a contract that has to be,
that's a solid
taken
point.
care of. So that's how I look at it.
And I think also with that, that unfortunately, ministries haven't really understood
To that world.
or operated in proper etiquette when it comes to these things. So they'll, instead of coming to artists like ourselves and being fully prepared, they try to do things on a wing and a prayer.
We're in the spirit.
But see, but the thing,
Bring some money in prayer.
God does things in decency and in order, and so we have to remember that. And what I love about my bishop at our church, when we have artists, preachers, whatever, the moment they get off the plane, they're handed an envelope with their money. So my thing is, you're going to minister better when you get your check first. Come on, somebody.
Somebody mad about that. Somebody's like, why did he say such truth?
Preach better. You're going to give your all when you don't have to think about, hey, am I going to get paid? Because this is what some people do full time. They don't have another job, and they have bills, they have kids, they have things that they have to take care of. So you have to look at it as a livelihood as well, that they have to be able to take care of their family. And some artists are taking care of more than just their immediate.
And I'm so glad he brought that up, because unfortunately, I've been doing this for a long time, and I've seen a lot of people fall away because they started trying to get in the music thing. A lot of worship leaders, a lot of men of God fell away just because of the amount of people that broke their promises and said they were going to pay. And then here's the tough part: when you're doing it for the Lord, and you find a woman of God that walks with you, and then it's not, after a while, the woman of God is like, hey, we got kids to take care of. You pressing, these people are really, once it becomes divisive in the home, and you watch it just crack all the way into the individual's heart. It starts relationally, and it just breaks their heart. And the next thing you know, not only do they end up going into the secular industry, or they leave their gift alone altogether. I've seen people walk away, not just from the faith, but walk away from their destiny because people constantly take advantage of them. But I know you've been doing this for some years, and he said, I don't have Earl Bynum money. But your drive, I know it has a lot to do with that. Like, how do you balance that out when people say, hey, can you come? And you're like, hey, there's this contract.
Well, I don't have that problem a lot. We negotiate before we do.
Yes, sir. I understand, sir.
You negotiate, not what you deserve.
Yeah.
So.
Did y'all hear that? He said, you get what you negotiate, not what you deserve. I'm taking that.
Yeah.
That's deep.
And that's from my bishop. I have to give my pastor, Bishop Kim Brown, his props for that. But he also said something else. Anything ending with ship ought to be moving. Friendship, relationship,
that's good.
Partnership.
Yeah.
So if you're the only one moving and the other ship is always at dock, you're in the wrong partnership, friendship, or relationship.
If you're the only
You
one
have
who...
to be comfortable enough to look at your circle and disconnect from those who are not moving with you.
Yeah. All right. So I've got to ask this question because being a musician and being a creative person is such a scary thing. Being creative, because other people will do things like get jobs, and when you're a creative person, you know, your success, everything, it's like coming out of you, whether it's music, and the risk is unbelievable. You know, like telling someone you're an entrepreneur and they look at you like, oh, you're broke. You know, it's like, no, I said an entrepreneur. You know, like, no, what you said was you're broke. But being a musician, it's almost, some people, it's like the plague, like, oh, you're one of those, you know, because there's a lot of risk involved. You know, it's true. They laugh because it's true. It's like, yes, I'm a musician. We may not eat tonight, you know. But especially when you're doing it for God, you know, I want everyone to understand that when you see somebody who is being nominated for like the Dove Awards and something like that, they went through all of those processes and phases, and that's what he's done. And so we're watching someone being recognized, and even just the nomination is already amazing. And you know, where do you think gospel music or Christian music as a whole, the role that it plays? What do you think we have to do to get that on the mainstream, to get that on everyday radio, other than just Christian radio? Or do you think it's always going to be a situation where we're in a box?
I think as Christians, we need to own things.
Yes.
Come on now.
Because if we own it, we can control it.
Janet's about to flip out right now. She's about to flip.
That's good.
He said we need to own it. And the thing is, I think that there are Christians that own a lot of different things. I think it boils down to genres. And I'm saying this very politically because I don't want anybody to think I'm trying to throw any particular genre under the bus. But there are certain genres that all they're going to do is church. They don't look at the business side. And so when you don't look at the business side, you don't know, you haven't been taught, hey, I need to own a little piece of the land, or I need to, you know, set myself up to where I can make moves and make decisions, and people are not making decisions for me, and, you know, different things. So I think that's a part of it. As far as music and where it's going, as far as the gospel, I think that it's, you know, everything is circular. You know, you have ups and downs, and seasons change, they go and they come. And so I remember growing up, you know, as a young child, you know, I used to always see R&B artists doing certain things with certain gospel artists. And then for a long while that stopped. And I would say about 2 to 3, maybe 4 years ago, you started to see that cycle again. So you're seeing that, you know, people are connecting again, and then, you know, this new era, people are like, oh my God, you know, you sang with an R&B artist, but you're a Christian. My thing is, he said go out to the hedges and the highways. I mean, that's just my way of saying it. He said go out, pretty much. And, you know, you have to do that. You can't be confined to the 4 walls of the church and then expect God to move. You come in here to corporately to be fed, you know, instilled into, and then, you know, empowered so that you can go out, so that you can bring more people to Christ. And so you have to be able to do that. And, you know, it just depends on how you're looking at things, but you have to change your perspective of the way you see certain things.
Gotcha. I want to ask you this. Social media to the artist now is critical. You guys agree? Social media is very important. If you have any type of business or marketing or anything like this, it's huge. With the sharing of free music, I heard someone say this, that gospel artists should be happy because their music's getting out and it's being shared, even though people are downloading for free and things like that. How do you feel about that, about you know, people purchasing albums versus, because a lot of times, and the reason why I'm asking this, because a lot of times people think that there's, you know, because you're on the gospel side, that certain things wouldn't matter. And they actually do. So is it important for people to purchase gospel albums versus take the opportunity to just have their stuff shared.
It's very important. I think what people don't understand, or the consumer, when you download or you stream, let's deal with streams. It takes 150 people to stream your song one time for you to make 99 cents. It takes 1,500 people to stream one time to make $10. So think about that. If you have a physical CD, that's $10. So let's just take 10 people in here tonight and we sold 10 CDs. How much is that?
He would bring up math, my worst subject.
That's $100 with 10 people with 10 CDs.
Yeah.
Well, let's do the math on the other side when you just stream. And I'm talking about Spotify and so many others. When you stream it, 1,500 streams have to come for you to make $10 as an artist.
And I'm hearing the conversation between an artist and his wife, you know, like he's trying to, honey, we got 1,500 streams, yay! And she's like, how much did we make? $10. Can you see how no one could be happy with that? You know, like, she's like, yay for the streams, this is horrible for our finances.
Things have evolved, but streaming and media has hurt the artist. The writer,
right?
It's not
creative.
It's not just gospel. I mean, it's her R&B as well. The thing is, if you're not a Beyonce, you're not a Taylor Swift, and you know those people of that caliber, you're not making what you were making.
So here's the call to action that I'm going to ask. Make sure you guys download or connect, not download. Do not do that we just talked about. I'm talking about make sure you guys get connected to their social media. Can you put your social media out for us?
Yes, I can. Social media, Instagram and Twitter and Facebook is all Earl Bynum, EARLBYNUM. You can follow me tonight.
That's right. Make sure before you leave here, you get connected with them. And I'm also going to ask that everybody, find some time. Find the time to support these guys because he just explained to you the reason why. If we don't dominate in the music realm, we are losing a major influence. And we have warriors out there. And I want to remind you that biblically, God would always send the Levites out first before any war. He would send the worship leaders out first. So you're talking about the first line of defense is what we hear musically. God would use that. Some people would retreat from battle because they had an awesome band. No, I'm kidding. But really, because the worship leaders were up front. You see what I mean? And so the sound that we make, is first of all, the unity, when we show and promote Christian culture, we become dominant. It frustrates me so bad that, the industry has changed in that way because it's great exposure on that side of marketing. It's great exposure, but then the financial part has really hurt us.
The music industry itself has changed the mindset. It's not about the music now; it's about branding.
Right.
So you brand yourself. So it's not even about the content; it's about branding. Yeah. And
it's not just music.
So much that has just changed with the music industry.
Well, let's promote your new album that you got out.
Yes, this is the record. It's Earl Bynum. This song is For You, and we're excited about this. This is a project that I produced myself, and this is the project that's nominated for the Dove Awards.
Come on, guys, let's give it up. Yeah.
I also want to talk about Hassan, and you can follow him on Hassan Music. This is his record on Earl Entertainment, but this was the first record we put out on him. And it's called Amazed. And he wrote it out of, my son went through a bad divorce. So he wrote it through going through a divorce and with my grandson having autism and came up with the lyrical content for this song called Amazed. And then we did a remake of Days of Elijah with this one.
All right.
So it's available as well.
All right, make sure you guys follow him and get that. Yeah, that's amazing. That's amazing. And first I want to say thank you guys, for all three of you, for making the time to come. Just so you know, I did not have to pay them. They just came. You know what I mean? Not that I wouldn't if I could, but it's just such a blessing that you guys did it out of your heart.
There was no contract.
There was no contract. because he works for his daddy. He said, "You coming? This is an opportunity." You know,
Actually, I told her. I said, "You coming?"
he was in bed chilling. He was,
I was just like, sir, I was like, I ain't got no haircut, I ain't getting no work, I gotta make something happen.
he's like, "Oh, it's Duke. It's okay." You know, that's exactly what you did. He's like, he doesn't care. It's true. I don't. But the reality is that you guys didn't have to do it. Thank you guys for coming and being a part of this. And we're gonna make sure that you guys get the support that you need, because it is about fueling you guys in a powerful way, the way that God intended us to take care of each other. Thank you guys so much. Give it up for these guys.
The reason I support Coming Soon Jesus is because there's so many people here in the Greenbrier area and the Virginia Beach area, the Hampton Roads area, that needs to hear the message of hope when it comes to Christ, comes to veteran-owned businesses, and people who, it's not about t-shirts here, it's about a mission, it's about helping people understand that you're not alone with your life's journeys.
The first time seeing my dad since I was 5 years old. And my whole plan at this meeting was to punch my dad in the face and walk away. But when I walked up to him, somehow I have to blame it on God. Like, my anger turned to pity when I saw how torn up he looked in his 50s, looking like he was 80. And we had a great conversation. At the end of that time, he asked for my forgiveness. And I was not prepared to give it to him. He reached out for a hug, and I pushed him away. So for the next 9 months, he would call and try to have a conversation, and I'd cuss him out and hang up the phone, because this was my only opportunity to get him back. I had no way of knowing that forgiveness is a gift to be given away. This is all I had to get him back to feel I needed to get my just due. But long story short, again, I'll blame it on God. 9 months into it, I called him one day and I said, "Hey man, look, I'm gonna let it all go. I forgive you. I really want to know what it's like to have a dad in my life." So I forgave him. I told him I loved him. He's crying, I'm crying. It was a great phone conversation. And he said, "Hey man, I'll come down this weekend and see you. I just got to get down there." And I was like, no, just take it slow. Let's just start with, "I forgive you." So that was that conversation. And it turned out to be our last conversation, because after that conversation, my father ended up in the hospital. Heart gave out, diabetic complications, years of drug abuse, and then he passed away. Our last conversation was, "I forgive you." And that falling apart, then the business stuff I'd put my hope in started to fall apart as well, all at the same time. I hit a low point, and I remember one night being on the phone with a prayer line, a 700 Club counselor. I don't even consider myself in Christ at this moment, but I saw it come on TV, and I called like, "Yo, if this is life, what is the point of waking up tomorrow?" And I don't even remember what he said, but the next morning I rolled out of bed, hit my knees, and I said, "God, I give up. If you are the way, like my grandmother said you are, like my mother's saying you are, and like this pastor's been saying you are, I give up." And I gave my heart to Christ. I changed drastically, and I've never looked back. So because of that moment, because I saw Christ come into my life and into my heart and into my situation, began to dig into scriptures, began to dig into history, and see that these aren't just good stories that hopeful people made up to kind of explain pain, but this is real historical events that happened with actual evidence, and the evidential fruit in my personal life, that what they're saying in the word is connecting with me and changing me right now. I just ran crazy with Christ after that. Duke, we found Duke, he got into our lives, and we just became great friends. And again, he'd been dating my wife for 5 years, and Duke was like, "What are you waiting on, man? Get it together, like tighten up." And he actually encouraged us, I still remember, to get a Bible with our names engraved on it, to put our life together in the Word of God and ground it there. And he's just, that set a course for my life that's been helpful. I'll always be eternally grateful for the ministry of Duke White and Coming Soon Jesus for that. But anyway, been full-time at Renaissance for 5 years. I was a youth pastor, left that job, and I've been focusing on that now. I now have a nonprofit called Expect Renaissance, so we do ministry in communities, go to schools, doing some mission work in South Africa, and that turned into another organization called the Safe House Project, where we're trying to rescue other fatherless kids and other kids who aren't protected and abused from sex trafficking, and give them a place of refuge.
You know, behind all that drug dealing, I did a lot of gun play, a lot of knife play, sold narcotics to the point where I was making $5,000 to $7,000 a day. But how many even though the devil had a trap set for me, God had a whole new mission for me. I ended up giving 13 years of my life to the Lord in penitentiary. But it was in cell number 27 in Marlton 400 one year. After a cellmate of mine was shipped out to Ohio going to the feds. that the Lord entered my jail cell and spoke to me and told me to write the vision. I replied to him, God, I don't even know where that scripture is. He told me to get up and go find it. I got up that night, went out to the top tier, sat up under the night light, and I found that scripture. But still, I knew what he meant, but I didn't want to accept the call. I ran for many more years until one day I just totally surrendered. And through all of that, I can actually say, you know, I've suffered the pain of having cancer in my throat, blacked out behind the wheels of 3 different cars 5 different times. I've been robbed, beat, almost literally left for dead. Man, I can just go on. I told you he ain't got enough film for all of this, but I just got to keep going because right now I stand before you as a guy who started his own company, JC's Home Improvement Company. Also started a nonprofit organization by the name of CORE that's actually up and running every month. We're passing out free groceries. I'm also the founder and pastor of City of Refuge 2, located at 6216 Pardue Court in Virginia Beach. Don't tell me what God can't do, because I'm telling you what he's done in my life. Don't get me started.
Hello, everybody, and you're watching Real Life with Duke White on ComingSoonJesus.org. And we wanted to tell you about the Artist of the Month. The Artist of the Month is Bread of Stone. It's a wonderful Christian rock group. You got to support them. They have wonderful material that you can support if you want to help them out. You know, when you support them, you're helping them do wonderful things across the country, actually across the globe, to be totally honest with you. So make sure you support Bread of Stone. Go to breadofstone.com. Have them come to your church or your gospel event or whatever you guys are doing. You want Bread of Stone there. These guys are amazing. See you soon.
The coast is clear. There was only shadows here. Face the time. You know you gotta cast aside everything that's weighing you down. Those burdens will drown under the starry sky. I'll be your guiding light. All you gotta do is say, oh, I'm not afraid no more. I'm not afraid no more. I'm not afraid to go.
All right, I hope you enjoyed that. Make sure you continue to send your support. Make sure you continue to get the Coming Soon Jesus shirt. Buy it for your grandma, buy it for your friend. Help us share the gospel. We want to make sure that everyone in every state has the Coming Soon Jesus shirt. Every week, if you have a Bible, you need to have the Coming Soon Jesus shirt. We want every believer to have a shirt. Tune into our radio show on currentfm.com.
currentfm.com, and we are so excited about the Duke Real Life with Duke White show.
Make sure you check us out. If you want to keep up with us, what's going on constantly, just go to the Coming Soon Jesus t-shirts page on Facebook. See you guys soon. We love you.